Bu sabahki olayda olduğu gibi NATO müttefiklerimizle yakın istişare içinde her türlü önlemi alıyoruz ve anında gerekli müdahalede bulunuyoruz. Bir daha benzer hadiselerin yaşanmaması için de uyarılarımızı en net biçimde yapıyoruz.
В днешния брой на Бюрото на Константин Вълков гост е Соли Йозел от Институт Монтен, член на Европейския съвет за външна политика и лектор в Коч университет. Добре дошли в днешния епизод. Живеем в момент, който историците вероятно ще нарекат определящ. След масирани удари на САЩ и Израел по Иран и падането на режима там, до този момент, разбира се, Близкият изток не просто се променя, той се фрагментира. От България също усещаме непосредствените трусове, очакван скок в енергийния пазар, страх от нови бежански потоци, отчаяни опити за намиране на логика в новият и регионален и световен ред. Но кой ще запълни вакуума, оставен от дестабилизирания Иран? Каква ще бъде цената за Турция, за България? Турция, която е ключов съсед на нашата страна, съюзник в НАТО. НАТО, пък, който в момента се бори със собствената си криза на вътрешната легитимност. За да ни помогне да осмислим тази игра с толкова високи залози, много се радвам да бъдем заедно с Соли Йозел, който в момента е в Истанбул, професор е по международни отношения в университета Коч. Ще се опитаме да погледнем отвъд заглавията, за да проследим студената, сурова логика или опасната импровизация на някой, която движи силите, преначертаващи в момента света. Професор Йозел, Анкара твърди, че е неутрална, но балистична ракета от Иран, която беше прихваната преди навлизане или малко над турска територия. Какво мислите? Безопасно ли е небето над вашите граници от ирански ракети? Възможно ли е неутралитетът да бъде успешна стратегия? И как гледа Турция на войната днес?
Well, to begin with, the Iranians themselves said that it wasn't their missile. I have no way of verifying this, but the fact that they said this could suggest one of two things. One, that it really wasn't them, just like the missile that landed on Cyprus that was actually put on their account was later on by the British said to not to have been actually thrown by them. Secondly, somebody in the, I mean, we were told, since the communications are broken by a decision that they took before the war began, the Revolutionary Guards have decentralized decision making. So a foolish or panicked local commander may have given that order, which is less likely, in my judgment, than the first one. So, I mean, the British said who they thought did not send that missile, but they didn't say who they think might have sent that missile, which then leads you to think who might have done it. But this is all speculative. So I think the fog of war is very thick. As for Turkey's reaction, I mean, there is no Turkey's reaction to the war. There is no doubt that Turkey feels extraordinarily uncomfortable for a whole set of reasons. First of all, I mean, enough is enough. We have had a war in our borders incessantly now since 2003. The Iraqi invasion, later on the Syrian civil war, and then the Ukraine invasion, the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and then, of course, the Israeli attacks on everyone after October 7. And now, if you will, the second round or the second battles of what was called the 12-day war. And this time, we don't even know what the political purpose from the United States perspective is. The Israelis appear to have gone totally hubristic. They don't know where to stop. They say they will not stop because of all this talk concerning might Turkey be next. And for Turkey, caught between not wanting a war, certainly not wanting a war with Iran itself, and being in a delicate position vis-a-vis the Trump administration, which has been so far very supportive of the current Turkish government, you want to be able to navigate a very thickly mined waters, if you will. Okay. There are lots of concerns that if Turkey took sides, of course, then it would be a target for Iranian missiles, because there is a radar station which is very annoying for the Iranians on Turkish soil. There is a NATO base. I mean, there are several others, and therefore Turkey would not like to become a target. Number one. Number two, if there is total chaos in Iran or a civil war type of condition, which might result from this Kurdish incursion, rebellion, if it succeeds, then you'll have a flood of migrants. And it's not just the Iranians. There's also a lot of Afghans and Pakistanis and others in Iran. And Turkey already had its more than fair share of migrants or refugees from Syria and elsewhere in the past 10 to 15 years. And we certainly don't need more. And Turkish government certainly doesn't want more. And there were even news, I don't know how speculative they were, that Turkey might wish to have establish a safe zone inside Iranian territory so that they would not have to receive the refugees or those who try to escape war on its own territory. And then again, this possibility of a Kurdish-led insurrection that might lead to civil war. All of those are, of course, of great concern. And of course, finally, the destabilizing effects of a chaotic Iran, you cannot really count those. Everybody will be affected. And already in the way the Iranians responded to the attack by Israel and the United States, which I should certainly mention is illegal when it comes to international law, it was no preemptive war. The repercussions, the ramifications for all of the regions surrounding Iran are going to be potentially can be catastrophic. Already the Gulf countries are rethinking their investments abroad in order to make up for their losses today. Because of insurance companies, mainly the Strait of Hormuz is virtually closed. There is no passage of oil. Qatar is suffering because of oil prices and gas prices are rising. So all in all, it's a move that has repercussions, that has consequences, not just for Iran, but not just for the region, but for the rest of the world as well.
Turkey wants to be a regional leader, the bridge. Can you define the current role Turkey plays in the region right now?
I really don't know. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, no, go ahead.
Yes, because you've written that Turkey is chasing strategic autonomy 2 years ago. What is your point of view today?
Well, first of all, I really don't like the term. I mean, when I write about it, I write it critically. To become strategically autonomous is the number one rule for any state that is self-respecting anyway. So you don't have to put a label on what it tries to do. Whether it can achieve that or not is a different matter, and whether the conditions allow that to happen is yet another question. And yes, the conditions are propitious for a country like Turkey, which is considered to be a regional power, to have more room for maneuver, undoubtedly. Now, Turkey competed with Iran and Saudi Arabia in the wake of the Arab revolts, wanted to be a game setter, if you will. And that really didn't work out too well. By 2020, Turkey found itself to be very lonely. Our rulers tried to sugarcoat this by saying that it was precious loneliness. Fine. But since 2020-21, especially when there was a crisis in Eastern Mediterranean, and when Turkey found out that almost everyone was ganging up against it, it changed tracks and now has rebuilt relations with Saudi Arabia, with the Emirates, and with Egypt. And in fact, today, as the Emiratis before this war were getting closer and closer with the Israelis and basically getting on the same page with the Israelis, say in Somalia, Turkey built closer relations with Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and now there is talk about Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Turkey constituting a kind of a strategic axis that could counter the Emirati-Israeli one, though I think Israelis don't really need anyone. They wanted the Israelis, it appears, their ambitions don't seem to have a limit, in that after they have almost devastated the Iranian strategic presence in the region, which was a function of yet another misadventure by the Americans, the 2003 invasion of Iraq, which offered Iraq on a silver plate to Iran and enabled them to actually control have control over vast space in the Middle East and encircle Israel. So the post-October 7 Israeli military actions, of course, crippled Hamas, didn't destroy it, crippled Hezbollah, didn't destroy it. It attacked Iran, and as a result of a combination of all those things, and Russia being busy in Ukraine, the initial main strategic partner of Iran has fallen, and that's Bashar al-Assad. When the Iranians can no longer go to Syria, and they lost access to Hezbollah. Hezbollah cannot get as easily weapons or money from Iran and all of that. So, and the Israelis therefore changed the strategic map of the region. They want to put themselves at the center, and they want to become hegemonic. Well, the thing is, yes, they do have military might, thanks to the United States to a large extent as well. But hegemony necessitates legitimacy, which I don't think they have. And they turned themselves into a war machine, and we now hear things that we would never believe if we heard them before, that after that they consider Turkey as a major threat, that after Iran it might be the turn of Turkey if Turkey doesn't change its ways and stuff. And this comes from either figures of authority or figures who used to be in positions of authority, such as the former defense minister, Mr. Gallant. I find that, of course, very, very unwise, not to mention dangerous for the rest of the region. And I'm not sure how intelligent it is either. And there are also, of course, amplifiers, especially in the United States, of that line of talk. And that means for the Israelis, if you look at the entire picture since October 7, what they did and did not do in Lebanon and Syria, for the Israelis, a chaotic Middle East is the most advantageous one to themselves, because they thrive in chaos, whereas everyone else wants some order and stability.
Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan, by the way, admits he had a deal on the table that could have stopped the war, a plan that the Americans actually accepted, but the Iranians killed it because they were too proud to talk, reports in the media. If Iran's leadership, what is your point of view, was so out of touch that they ignored a regional lifeline, because we are talking about regional lifeline, why there are people still pretending that Iran is a rational actor we can negotiate with, or such kind of people are a small portion of the region now?
Let me get this straight. To the best of my knowledge, there was a deal on the table which the Iranians actually accepted, if we're going to believe the foreign minister of Oman, right? And the thing is, it was the Americans who were not interested, because the decision to go to war was made almost immediately after the 12-day war. Secondly, you really cannot trust Kушнер and Uitkоф. I mean, it's big enough to have to deal with Ukraine, Russia, and you give Uitkоф, who is not a diplomat, whose patience or diplomatic patience probably is non-existent, Kушнер, who is actually a partisan actor, and you cannot expect them to be either even-handed or have the requisite qualifications to conduct such an important thing. But I think we don't even have to talk about this. What we now know is that Bibi Netanyahu wanted a war, convinced Trump that it was a good idea to have a war. Now they have a war. So nobody could have stopped it, obviously. It was all shenanigans, going to Oman, going to Geneva and all of that. And there will be a fallout from all of this, because it's not just that the international order, its rules, its institutions have been discarded fairly violently in the past 14 months, but also the US may no longer have the same advantages for a long time either. Everybody will need those rules. So, and I think the Iranians were also ready to see another war coming their way. And what we all, I guess, are in the dark about is, how on earth is this going to end? Is there an exit strategy on the American side? And everything that I've read suggests that no, there isn't. How long can the regime withstand the assault? And then, well, if the assault really continues for weeks, which I thought could not happen, and we still are just in 1 week, I don't see American public tolerating this. American public opinion makers of the right as well as the left are against this. It costs a lot. Honestly, it costs quite a lot. And we'll see who's going to break first. And if Iran breaks first, that is, if the regime falters, or if the called Kurdish incursion or Kurdish revolt works out and weakens the regime, and we may find either chaos or civil war, I told you what I think might be the results for everyone. Or the regime withstands this assault. It's the Americans who will have to blink. And under those circumstances, we are liable to get a semi-military dictatorship with a religious figurehead. I mean, if the son of Ali Khamenei as the next religious leader, who probably doesn't have even a fraction of the qualifications presumably needed to have that order, that's supposed basically you keep him for a legitimizing factor, but it will be behind the scenes a Revolutionary Guard regime that is going to be even more hawkish, and God knows what will be in store for all of us in the coming months and years.
But what do you think, because President Trump has publicly demanded a say in who becomes the next leader of Iran. Does the White House actually believe they can handpick the ruler of a nation of 90 million people, or is it just further proof that we've completely abandoned reality in favor of a new imperial even brand?
Well, even imperial visions used to have more touch with reality. I mean, that may be what he wishes, that may be what he thinks he should have, just like calling the Kennedy Center the Trump Kennedy Center, okay? Or the road in Armenia, Azerbaijan, in the Caucasus, the Trump Road for Peace, or whatever. I mean, all those things. It's very difficult to try to analyze things when you cannot be sure where some of the words of the American president are actually coming from. And if you take him seriously, you're in one sort of problem. If you don't take him seriously, you're in another sort of problem. So we all let ourselves go with the flow and then see what happens. But at some point, the economic reality will bite even the most spineless American businesses, I would think. If this thing drags on, and that means if the Iranian regime actually survives, withstands the pressure, then the consequences are going to be bad all over. And if one of the reasons as to why this war is being fought was because you expected a quick win and then you could cash this in November for the midterms and stuff, it will not work that way. And as for the Republicans in the Senate who could have stopped this, who chose not to, a month from now, when the primaries are nearly over, will they be as enthusiastic about following Trump's line? I cannot be sure. Can this last for another month? I'm not even sure of that, but again, it's all speculative for now.
What is your definition, by the way, of winning a war like this in Iran, and what are your predictions for the days to come?
Well, I guess, I mean, the Israeli case in this one is over. It's obvious to replace the current regime with a regime that is more pliable, who would toe Israel's line, I suppose, or who would toe America's line. I mean, I can see, I know, or we all know, we all sense that this regime which is brutal, murderous, and I mean, one that I would gladly hope to see gone, and is probably not much liked by a bulk of its population, is on the one hand not very easy to displace, and second, no self-respecting country would accept to be treated, and especially one like Iran, would accept to be treated as a colony from the 17th, 18th, or the 19th centuries. So that would backfire. I don't think that you could implant a new regime that the Iranian public did not have a say over. Unfortunately for the Iranian opposition and for the Iranian public, they do not have an organized political movement that could be considered to replace this regime. And of course, the resources of the regime, and I understand that about 28 million, almost a third of Iran's population depends in one way or another on the largesse of the Revolutionary Guards, also gives them a certain base, which is difficult to unseat. So I find getting a pliant regime in place and then move on and then live happily ever after not a very realistic option or a very realistic expectation.
I see. How you see the region these days? What is Bulgaria's position viewed from Istanbul?
Since I don't know what Bulgaria's position is on this particular issue, I cannot really answer. What is Bulgaria's position?
I mean, how do you see the region's stability as Bulgaria as a member of NATO viewed from Istanbul?
This is pushing everyone in the region to the brink. I mean, an entire economic universe that the Gulf countries created for themselves, I think, is in ruins. How are you going to sell stability, proximity to Asia, being a hub and all of that with the same comfort as you did before 28th of February 2026? All the grandiose plans that were there, which needed a lot of financing, are now in jeopardy, especially if this thing drags on. Israel has replaced Iran as the major threat for everyone, not because it attacks those countries, but it makes life impossible for those countries. And it is, I mean, okay, they may be very angry at Iran for attacking them, but quite frankly, I don't see what anybody could expect from the Iranians. Of course, they would attack the Gulfies. It may not be fair, but that's the option that they have. And it's the failure of the Gulf regimes to stop the United States and Israel. So for everyone, this is uncomfortable. There is no doubt that it is, as you said at the beginning, it's a transforming moment, but transforming into what, that I don't think anybody can realistically give you a blueprint. And
do you believe that the Iranians were 2 weeks from making a nuclear bomb?
I'm sickened by that talk. I mean, seriously, am I going to believe Uitkov? No, I'm not. Look, I listened to Wendy Sherman yesterday. She was the host, she was the guest along with Christian Amanpour of Jon Stewart. I mean, this is a serious diplomat who negotiated for months and years with the Iranians. So I'll take her any given moment against Kushner and Uitkov. So, no. And the thing is, the ease with which these guys lie, I find thoroughly disgusting.
And final question, because let's go back to Turkey. Because
But let me finish with Bulgaria. I mean,
yes,
of course,
please do.
you are liable to be indirectly affected. If Turkey is in turmoil, or God forbid, the Israelis are crazy enough to actually try to do something in Turkey, you are liable to suffer some consequences. Okay, so so you have a United States which is rudderless, and an Israel with no limits, and a president that either doesn't think through the consequences of his decisions or doesn't really care. There is an article today in the Financial Times by Gillian Tett that Trump is not interested in cleaning up the mess that he created. And that means all of us will have to go with the shovels to clean up that mess. Anyway, go.
So finally, about Turkey, there were many observations that 2026 will be a year of, let's say, international empowerment for middle powers like Turkey, like Brazil, like India. Why such kind of multipolar world is specifically advantageous for such kind of middle powers, middle ranked powers right now, and how should they use, and especially Turkey, use this newfound influence?
I hope you'll forgive my cynicism. Yes, the world looks more multipolar than it did before. And it is true that some mid-sized powers have more room for maneuver, some more so than others, okay? And I would concede that such powers have a lot more veto power than power to actually get things moving in the direction that they want. So I'd like to be more circumspect about attributing such powers to the rising or the middle powers. Will they have the same space 10 years from now is debatable. And as for Turkey's influence, if Turkey had as much influence as everybody claims it does, then it should have been able to stop the assault against Iran. So you see the limit. I'm not saying Turkey is not an influential country, but there are limits to that influence, just like there are limits to Brazil's or South Africa's or even India's influence or Indonesia's influence. Those are all countries whose names appear as part of that new gang of middle powers. Nigeria is also cited. Nigeria was bombed recently by the United States, and I didn't see it able to stop it either. So no, this my bottom line is, we live in a world where all countries have vulnerabilities, and it's a matter of how you manage your vulnerabilities. So to speak in absolutist terms, in my judgment, is wrong. This is still a condition that is being shaped, and let's not jump the gun and go to premature conclusions.
Very good to talk to you, Professor Yozel.
Good.
Hope to
Thank
see
you very much
soon
for having me.
and talk to you soon.
Okay,
Thank you so
bye-bye.
much. Thank you.